Welcome back to Skyrim Mod Collections. So today we'll be looking at a collection that I've come up with that basically highlights all the essential mods that you're going to want to use if you're using Isoku's mod, Frostfall. Now this collection is kind of my opinion, but a lot of the mods here are actually recommended by the author of Frostfall. So yeah, not all of the mods are standalones, there are alternatives, but most of which I've already done comparison videos of or will do in the future. And in fact there is indeed an alternative to Frostfall, which is a mod called Hypothermia. I'm not going to talk about in this video because there is in fact a mod comparison which will be linked in the description along with all the others that I'll talk about in this video. So the first mod on my list is Wet and Cold, which is also by Isoku. This basically allows you to have all kinds of effects like dripping water and snow getting on your character and NPCs, all kind of realistic things to do with getting wet and getting cold, as you can imagine by the mod's title. Now there is an alternative mod called Get Snowy, which does a similar thing, but only gets you snowy rather than getting you wet and all kinds of other things that added to Wet and Cold. The reason for this is because there's no scripts involved in the mod, which heavily reduces problems that you may have. I go into more descriptive detail in my mod comparison video, which of course is in the description below. Now the next mod is Cloaks of Skyrim, which is by a modder called Noodles. So this mod basically adds more cloaks than Frostfall has originally, which is actually great. And just to add even more variety, there's another mod by a modder called Nivea called Winter is Coming Cloaks. And this does the same thing, but it adds different cloaks quite obviously. And these ones are just as cool and high quality, so if you want even more variety, you can choose that mod also. What's also great about these mods is NPCs will walk around with these cloaks, adding even more variety. You wouldn't expect them all to be wearing the same style of cloak, they'd all have different ones, which is exactly what these mods provide. Now the next mod is called Footprints, and this does exactly what you'd expect it to do. It adds footprints into the snow as you walk past, and that is an absolutely amazing feature that adds greatly to immersion. And it's by a modder called John WD7. Another highly recommended mod is Splash of Rain, which is also by Isoku. This mod basically adds splashes of rain on the floor when it is raining that really add to immersion, especially when you're running Frostfall. The whole idea that you get wet and you have to escape from it just adds to it even more than the fact that you can see it splashing on the ground, and once you install it you will not be able to uninstall it, because it really is that good. Now the next mod is Better Dynamic Snow. If you're going to be running away from snow all the time, you're going to want it to look colder and more realistic, and in my opinion this mod is the best, and it is a collaboration by Sparrow Prince and Brumbeck. There are other textures you can use, and I did a comparison video on this comparing it to another mod called Alternative Snow, that you can choose for yourself, but in my opinion this is the best looking one. Now the final mod that I'll be adding to this list is Real Shelter, which is quite new, and it's by a modder called Robin Sage. Now this mod is revolutionary, and what it basically does is allow real shelter behind buildings and that kind of thing, where normally in Skyrim rain just passes through walls and you still get wet if you're using Frostfall. Well, this mod completely changes that, and you can actually take shelter, which is, as you can imagine, extremely realistic and really should have been in the game in the first place. So that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please check out the mod comparisons in the description if you need any more information on any of the alternatives to these mods.